3 things that have helped me lose 40+ pounds over the past few years on a plant-based diet. Number 1 then is portion control. Folks, you wouldn't believe how many people message me every single day and they say, Ryan, I'm following this whole foods plant-based diet. I'm doing it very strictly day in, day out, but I'm simply not losing weight. I've been doing this for a month and I haven't even lost a pound yet. What on earth is going on? My typical response to this is, right, take me through your usual daily diet. Let's see what you're eating here. And 9 times out of 10, I would say what comes back to me looks pretty good on the whole. There might be some fruity oatmeal for breakfast there, lots of salads, lots of whole grains, fruits, veggies, of course, tubers, and moderate plant fats, nuts, seeds, avocados, etc. In other words, they're checking all the boxes of the fundamentals of whole foods plant-based eating. So my next question is then, right, how much are you eating? Take me through the quantities. This is where I'm often met with a couple of different responses. Number 1 is, I'm not really sure. I'm sort of doing it by eyeball. I don't really know how much I'm eating. I'm just sort of throwing it in my plate or in the bowl or in the pan, etc. This is okay, and I like the idea of being intuitive here, but for a beginner, it's not always the best place to start, right? Because how on earth do you trust yourself with portions when you're totally new to this stuff? And number 2 is, well, my favourite vegan YouTuber had a lovely banana smoothie in there, what I eat in a day video, and it had 10 bananas and 8 dates, so I just did that. And this is where you can imagine my hand is smacking my forehead, folks, because I see this a lot as well. This copy and paste method that a lot of people use really is destined for failure. And the reason why is because you're often comparing yourself to somebody who is totally different from you. Okay, maybe they have different goals, maybe they're in a weight maintenance phase versus actively looking to lose weight like yourself. Perhaps number 2, they are a lot more active than you. Number 3, albeit this plays a smaller role, maybe they're just genetically gifted and just by chance you're comparing yourself to somebody who frankly is genetically elite, they have a wonderful metabolism, etc., etc. All in all, though, you need a lot more tailoring. You need something that's a little bit more personalized. Yes, watching other people online, Instagram, YouTube, etc., can give us some rules of thumb. However, oftentimes you're comparing to somebody else who is totally different from you in many different ways, lots of different factors. It's really important to note. Listen, I think the bottom line on this, because I have this conversation day in, day out, is that many vegans and plant-based dieters, new ones especially, really disregard portions and calories and that sort of thing. They hear this messaging, which I totally get, but they hear this messaging of, look, you don't have to worry about portions so much because of the low calorie density here, because of the high fiber content, because these foods are so satiating, satisfying, etc., etc. You can eat big portions of food and you can still lose weight at the same time. Some people, though, they take this message, which is well-meaning, something I've said many times, something I still stick by to this day, but they go so far with it to the point where they never consider portions, never consider calories, and they wonder why they're not losing weight, right? Even though they're eating lots of the right foods. And I think there is a line to be drawn on this, folks. If you are not losing weight right now and you've been doing this for a couple of weeks, and you're eating lots of the right food, you're following the other protocols that I set out here, then yeah, something is wrong. Something is probably wrong, I should say. Not always, but likely wrong with your calories, with your portions, etc., etc., etc. Let me make this perfectly clear. It is absolutely possible to overeat on a plant-based diet. There are some of you that know this for sure, and you're like, Ryan, why are you even saying this? This is obvious. But there's a lot of people, you wouldn't believe how many people I interact with on a day-to-day basis who really believe that that doesn't matter and portions don't matter. They do. So for me, when I transitioned to a plant-based diet, when I went vegan in the summer of 2015, at first I really wasn't worried about portions. I lost 25 pounds in the first 3 months. It was amazing, but it came quickly to a point where I had to be a bit more considerate of lots of things, not just portions, but portion control was one of them. So me learning how to get that in check over time, a lot easier. Led to a lot more weight loss, I should say, but a lot easier weight loss too, right? Number 2, not looking at everything through a nutrition lens all the time. This is what so many, I think dieters are conditioned to do because they are so led to believe that it's a diet or it's an exercise program that is the answer to all their problems. Now, you can have, as I've said many times, you can have the world's best weight loss program, right? But if your mind isn't right for success, you're not going to have consistency, you're not going to have conviction, you're going to self-sabotage, there's going to be reservations, and they're going to manifest, they're going to come out. If you're not truly committed to this, something's going to go amiss at some stage. So the mind has to be right, even if you've got a great exercise plan, even if you've got a great nutrition plan. For me, it was breaking away from just thinking about, you know, the surface level of weight loss all the time. This is what allowed me to keep weight loss going over the long term. You can lose a couple of pounds here and there, can't you? Tweaking your diet, doing a bit of exercise, but until you start really addressing the mental and emotional barriers you have to weight loss, you're only going to get so far. For me, the big thing, as many of you know, as many of you longer term subscribers know, was boredom eating. Back in my student days, I didn't have so much on my plate back then, lacking in responsibility. I was very lazy compared to what I am nowadays, that's for sure, in myself. Not terribly so, but a lot lazier, let's say. And for me, I just turned to food for something to do. And really, I wasn't even that conscious or mindful of it at the time. It's only with hindsight that I can say, wow, this was a real problem for me. And so I actually fixed that mentally, right? I didn't just go plant-based and think that it was some miracle cure that would, solve all of my problems. It solved a lot of my problems when it came to weight loss. But I also thought, right, I've got to do something about this boredom eating stuff, okay? I've got to get my mind right for this. And it's really when I stopped looking at everything through that sort of typical diet lens that my results went to the next level. Because I could go deeper, I could go below the iceberg and tackle the other things that allow us to execute on the nutrition, on the exercise. Does that make sense? So this is why I always talk about this sort of holy trinity of weight loss, which is nutrition, of course, obviously, exercise, but also the mind. Very key. And finally, number 3 here. I don't know if this is very different to the previous 2, I think, but beans. I have eaten so... I couldn't even guess. I couldn't even put a weight on it. But the amount of beans I've eaten, folks, in the last 6 years is incredible. It's outrageous. Beans are wonderful. High protein content, lots of plant protein there if you're worried about protein transitioning to this plant-based way of eating. Very rich in fiber as well, which is a really important component for weight loss there. Tend to have a low calorie density. I mean, there are exceptions, things like chickpeas and soybeans, a bit higher in fat, therefore a bit higher in calories. But generally speaking, all beans, absolutely incredible for weight loss. They really are. And I say beans, I actually mean the whole legume category, including things like peas and lentils. But for me, I've lent on beans an awful lot, and they really fill me up, they really satiate me. And for me, they've been they still to this day are one of my favourite foods for weight loss. So lots of beans, if you're struggling with weight loss right now, can really, really help you advance things. So those are the 3 big things, folks, that have really helped. Well, there's lots, but these are just 3 things that have helped me lose so efficiently over these last couple of years. Let me know what you're struggling with weight loss down in the comments below. And as always, for more resources, head over to naturalweightlossmastery.com. See you soon.